For thousands of years, humanity fought a silent enemy, infection. A small wound, a simple cut, even a surgeon's knife could mean death, and antiseptics have changed all that. Join us as we take you on a journey through time to explore how antiseptics have impacted our world. In the time of the pharaohs, when even a small cut could lead to a deadly infection, the Egyptians turned to honey as a natural antiseptic. They carefully applied it to wounds, not realizing they were fighting off invisible bacteria. Meanwhile, across the Mediterranean, the Greeks had their own remedy: wine. The strong stuff, they believed, would drive out bad spirits causing illness. In Asia, various herbs were commonly used for their antiseptic properties. But despite these early attempts at fighting infection, millions of lives were still lost to sepsis and gangrene. Fast forward to the 1800s, European hospitals were overcrowded and understaffed, a breeding ground for germs. Surgeons, clad in dirty coats, would operate without washing their hands or sterilizing their instruments. Those who survived the surgery often died from the resulting infection. It was a dark time in medical history. Then came the 1860s when everything changed. Inspired by Louis Pasteur's germ theory, English surgeon Joseph Lister began experimenting with antiseptics in his lab. He wanted to find a way to kill bacteria on surgical wounds and prevent infection. After much trial and error, he found his answer: carbolic acid. He started by spraying the operating room with the pungent liquid to purify the air, then applied it to wounds and surgical tools. It was a breakthrough moment. Deaths from infection dropped dramatically, going from around 45% to below 15%. Side by side, the difference was stark. Operations performed with filthy instruments and hands led to bloody, infected wounds. But under Lister's antiseptic techniques, incisions were clean and patients were safer. As news of Lister's success spread, the medical community took notice. Surgeons across the country began adopting his methods, transforming the field of surgery forever. But the benefits of antiseptics went far beyond the operating room. By the turn of the century, battlefield hospitals were using antiseptics to treat the wounded. During World War I, as medics rushed to help the injured, they knew that every second counted. With a quick pour of antiseptic on a gaping wound, they could stop the bleeding and prevent infection, giving the soldiers a chance to survive. And survive they did. Men who would have surely died on the battlefield were now coming home, thanks to antiseptics. The story doesn't end there. In the 1930s, a new threat emerged: World War II, but this time, the Allies were better prepared. As the bombs fell and the battles raged, the importance of antiseptics on the battlefield became even clearer. Every soldier wounded in combat needed immediate treatment to prevent infection and death. And the frontline medics were trained and ready. They moved quickly and efficiently, pouring antiseptic onto cuts and burns, dressing wounds and saving lives. Thanks to their quick reactions and the power of antiseptic, many soldiers who would have perished in previous conflicts were now returning home to tell their stories. Meanwhile, back at the home front, nurses were busy sterilizing instruments. Doctors were applying antiseptic to bandages, and everyone was doing their part to prevent the spread of infection. Even the smallest cut or scrape could be dangerous, but with antiseptic readily available, people were taking action to protect themselves. Parents were cleaning their children's cuts and scrapes with alcohol and iodine, while athletes were using disinfecting wipes to keep their equipment clean. And in the operating room, antiseptic sprays were keeping the air free of germs, ensuring that every surgery was as safe as possible. The impact of antiseptics was undeniable. What began as a single experiment by Joseph Lister had reshaped medicine forever. Surgery was safer, hospitals were cleaner, and wars were less deadly. From the ancient use of honey to the modern antiseptic spray, the fight against infection had come a long way. And so the story of antiseptics reminds us that even the smallest discovery can change the course of history. A small wound on an ancient battlefield might have seemed like a death sentence, but thanks to the foresight of our ancestors and the groundbreaking work of Joseph Lister, it became a moment of hope. Today, as we look back on the history of antiseptics, Let us be inspired by the countless lives that have been saved by this simple yet powerful innovation. From the halls of ancient Egypt to the modern operating room, antiseptics have been there every step of the way, protecting us from the silent enemy of infection. As we continue to innovate and discover new ways to fight infection, let us never forget the legacy of those who came before us and the antiseptic revolution that changed the world. Thanks for watching.